This is the Lectric XP Lite version 1.0. This is actually last gen model. Version 2.0 is out now. I didn't even know version 2.0 was coming out. I bought this and pretty much like a day after it shipped, they announced version 2.0. But that's neither here nor there. I don't regret the purchase at all. I bought this bike for my son, who is 4'11". I needed an e-bike that would accommodate him for riding along with me, and this one fits the bill. So it's been a perfect bike for that so far, but I'm going to go over everything that the bike has to offer in this video. As you can see, it's folded up right now, and it has a very small footprint when folded up. This fits in the back of my hatchback very easily, and it weighs about 46 pounds, so it's very easy to lug around and pack up for storage and take on trips and things like that. Everything on this bike is very well built. We've got really strong welds. We've got a grab handle here for easy movement, and there's a grab handle down here for when you fold it up, so you can grab it there. It's got a big front sprocket, and it's a single speed, which I actually like that on an e-bike. I like simplicity, and I like that if you're going to go with a single speed, put a big sprocket up front. Around back, we got a 300 watt motor, and I believe it's 500 watt peak. We've got disc brakes here that are more than adequate for stopping this light bike. We've got some mounting points for a rack if you would want to put one on. Tail light back here. This tail light does not act as a brake light. It just is a continuously on tail light when the headlight is on. Speaking of the headlight, we've got that right up here. Front brakes. Everything on the bike seems pretty well built. Good strong brake handles, comfort grips. We can take the handlebars up and down as needed. And the screen is high contrast, easy to read even in bright sunlight. The control layout is very basic and intuitive. We got a power button over here. We've got the plus and minus buttons for going through your pedal assist modes, and if you hold both of those at the same time, you can go into your bike settings. As far as I know, there's no way to go in and unlock any extra speed out of this bike, so it does cap out at 20 miles per hour, and it does have fairly slow acceleration. I'm actually okay with that because I don't want my son hurting himself, so I think to get started with an e-bike, that is plenty fine. And as small as this bike is, I don't really know that I would want to go any faster than that either. To turn the headlight and tail light on, just hold the top plus button here for a few seconds, and we can see that the headlight came on. There, the headlight is on. And the tail light is on as well. It's pretty bright out here, so we probably can't make that out. The key goes in underneath the frame right here, and this is how you lock the battery in place and unlock it. And if you unlock it completely, the battery slides right out. This is a 47.4 volt, 7.8 amp hour battery, and the battery is actually the weak point of the bike. This will give you about 15 miles of range. If you ride the bike on pedal assist 5 at high speed, or if you rely solely on the throttle, you'll also get about 15 miles out of the bike. The tires on this bike are branded Lectric, and they are 20 by 2.6 inch tires, and they have a little bit of knob to them. So this is about where the seat needs to be to accommodate my 4'11" son, and it seems to be pretty comfortable for him. We do have the comfort package that came with this bike. It was a freebie when I bought the bike. It was a promotional deal. It came along with the comfort seat, the upgraded headlight, and a bike lock. I've not put the upgraded headlight on this bike yet because I don't really plan on him riding it at night. And I haven't put the comfort seat on it yet because I don't want to throw too much at him at once. He's pretty happy with this seat. It's one of those things I might throw it on there later. This seat can go down this far to accommodate even shorter riders, all the way down to 4'8". Just keep in mind that when you do drop the seat, the post does come all the way through the frame and stick out the bottom. I don't think it's going to affect any kind of rideability for the bike, but it is just something to be aware of. I am 5'10" tall, and this is where I had to take the seat up to accommodate me for these tests. As you can see, it is up pretty high, but you can take it up even higher if you need to. And that is pretty much max for the seat height, but I really don't see too many people riding it at that height. And here is the comfort seat package on the bike. As you can see, it is comedically large, but it looks very comfortable. And it does have a suspension post, so I may ride it a little bit with that on there, but for the most part I'm going to be testing the bike as it comes from the factory with the stock seat. One other quick point about this bike is that I normally show an unboxing and assembly video, a time-lapse video of the bike getting put together. There was no point to it with this one. The only thing I had to do with this bike was drop in the handlebars into this down tube here and lock them in place with this quick release and put air in the tires, and that was it. This is hands down the easiest bike I've ever put together, because it comes pre-assembled pretty much already. Here we go. This is a throttle only test, and I'm not going to pedal at all, and this is where we're going to see what we can get up to. Here's pedal assist 1, pulling back on the throttle. It doesn't accelerate quickly, but it does get up there. And there we are, we're capped out at about 20 miles per hour, and at 20 it starts to roll back. And keep in mind, I do weigh 200 pounds, so that's where we're at with this right now. So 20 miles per hour. So with me at 200 pounds, it teeters right on the edge of 20 miles per hour under throttle only. Braking power is plenty enough for this small lightweight bike. Now we're going to do a pedal assist test. I'm in pedal assist 1 right now. You know what, as a matter of fact, let's go down to pedal assist 0 and see what we can get the bike up to under a normal pedaling scenario. So I am just going under my own power right now, and with that big front crank, it's a little bit hard to take off. Does take a bit of effort, but once you get going, we're up to 9 miles per hour pretty easily. Now I'm going to go really easy with my pedaling here and go up to pedal assist 1. And that's holding us at around 8 and 9 miles per hour. I don't notice a whole lot of difference with pedal assist 1 versus just pedaling the bike under my own power. Now we're going to go up to pedal assist 2. All right, very easy pedaling here, and it's taking us up to about 11 miles per hour. And that's about where we're staying. Pedal assist 3. Going up to about 14 miles per hour, and that's about where it's staying at. Pedal assist 4, and this is where I'm really starting to notice a difference. Taking us up to about 16 miles per hour, and under pedal assist 5. And this is where we're able to get up to 20 miles per hour, a little bit over 20 miles per hour, and I'm basically just kind of ghost pedaling here. But if I put a little bit more effort into it, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Whether you're using throttle or pedal assist on this bike, acceleration is very mild, making this a great candidate for a first bike for a novice e-bike rider. My son was actually very afraid of the speed that this bike had when he first rode it, but after about 5 to 10 miles, he was able to ease into it, and by the end of the ride, he was pedaling along at 20 miles per hour without any problems whatsoever. But with that being said, this might not be the first choice in an e-bike for a real speed demon. My favorite thing about this bike has nothing to do with the bike at all, but the community that surrounds the bike. This bike has a cult-like following and a lot of mods available that people have cooked up that you can do to this bike that really solve a lot of the problems with the bike. One, you can add a second battery with off-the-shelf parts very easily, so that takes care of your range. You can change out the handlebars for a more BMX-style handlebar if you so choose. I also saw where somebody added a set of suspension forks to this bike, so it'll make it a lot easier on your back and butt to take it off-roading. And with that being said, though this bike is a lot of fun to take off-road, it's not something that I would want to do for very long. This bike has a rigid frame with no suspension to give whatsoever, and though the comfort seat might actually add a little bit to help mitigate that, this is not a bike that was built out of the factory for off-roading. I would kind of steer clear of this bike if that's something that you want to do a lot of. This bike is a lot of fun to take around your neighborhood on pavement and through, you know, paved roads and campgrounds and things like that, and it even does fine on gravel. But as far as like riding off-road trails and through the grass and, you know, heavy holes and things like that, this would not be my first choice for that. But as I mentioned before, just about every problem that this bike has, the community behind it has a solution for it. And as I already mentioned, the battery on this bike is kind of weak. It's not really made for long runs. You can add a second battery through modding, but this bike was not made for long rides to begin with, especially for somebody who is, you know, of average height like myself or taller. This is not a touring bike by any means. It is a bike to hop on and have some fun in your neighborhood, riding around, short rides, things like that. But with that in mind, it is a lot of fun to take on short rides. The bike is extremely nimble and just an absolute blast to ride. One of the major weak points of this bike is that it does not have a very high amp hour battery. It's a 48 volt battery at 7.8 amp hours. It's pretty small, so if you run this bike on, say, pedal assist 5 and run it at top speed the entire time, or run it on throttle only, pegging out the top speed the entire time, you're only going to get about 15 miles out of this bike. The bike will climb hills okay, but you are going to have to pedal to help it. And that was a pretty steep hill, but it made it without any problems. Braking is pretty solid with these disc brakes, but I'm going down some pretty steep hills here, but it handled them okay. Most of the kind of riding that I do is pretty casual, so that's generally not a problem for me, but if you do a lot of like steep hill climbing and downhill riding, it might be an issue for you. Just keep that in mind. So my final thoughts on the Lectric XP Lite. This bike is a lot of fun to ride. It is nimble, lightweight, and easy to take along on a trip. So for like a camping bike, you can't go wrong here. The reason I bought this bike was for a short rider coming in at 4 foot 11 inches, and this bike does a great job of accommodating that rider. Also, it's a great bike for novice e-bike riders. It's nimble but not aggressive. It has very mild acceleration with only a top speed of 20 miles per hour. So if you're thinking about getting your kids into e-biking, this might be the perfect candidate for a bike for them. Should you buy this bike? Well, I don't know if you actually can anymore. I don't know that Lectric offers this bike at all. I think I bought one of the last ones on the market. This bike has been replaced with the Lectric XP Lite 2.0, which has solved a lot of this bike's problems, but at a price. You can upgrade the battery for more money, for more range, and things like that. I would say that if you can find this bike on Facebook Marketplace or someplace like that secondhand, and you can get a really good price on it, and you like to do modifications on things like this, this would be the perfect bike for you. I actually do love tinkering and modifying things like that, so I will probably most likely go through and put the BMX style handlebars and the suspension fork on the front and a second battery on this bike. If you're a short rider looking for a lightweight bike and you don't like to do tinkering, I would say go for the XP Lite version 2.0 and just buy the off-the-shelf parts to make it be what you want it to be. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.